All right, the day wouldn't be complete without laughing at Biden for a little bit. I've got a few clips that you might have seen, but it's always still fun to laugh. If you don't laugh, you're gonna cry. All right, let's pull it up. All right, so oh come on, pause that, back it up. Let's go full screen so we can just see it in all of its glory and splendor. Okay, ready? Let's go.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me.
I think I've said something similar um, to my children when they do a good job. You answered all the questions. Good job. Oh yeah. It was. I saw that and I just had to laugh. Um, so here's a
And
clip
we
of
give thanks to.
Kamala um, introducing Joe. I guess this is partially a Kamala gaffe and partially a Joe Biden gaffe. Here this wonderful piece is.
And we give thanks to our Commander in Chief, the President of the United States, the extraordinary President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Ho, ho, ho! Happy Independence Day!
I thought he was going to say Happy New Year for a minute there. Uh, I, uh, First, almost calls him the vice president, and then he comes in with a ho ho ho. I don't even know what to say. But the Biden Harris campaign came out and made sure that the ho ho got clipped or clipped out so people wouldn't see it um, on their feed. Hopefully, or they were hoping that it would be memory hold or something. So here's everything he said after that, which doesn't make it a whole lot better. Here it is.
Happy Independence Day! We got to do what our founders did. Show the world we're a nation.
What did our founders do again? Didn't they separate themselves from a tyrannical government that was overtaxing them? And well, you could just go through the Declaration of Independence and see what the founders did, or why they wanted to separate from Great Britain. But I guess Biden doesn't know what our founders did. Let's continue.
Of dignity, honor, and just devotion to one another. This is, no, I really mean it. Folks, it's all about democracy. It's all about freedom. It's all about who we are.
So if you look through the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, it never says democracy. It says republic. It says constitution. It never says democracy. Interesting, a slight problem there, but we'll continue.
We're the United States of America, and nothing like it exists in the world. Happy 4th of July. Enjoy the fireworks. God love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That weird point. Yeah. So that was Biden. That was the best they could do for that one. Um, Here's this is an older clip, so this is not recent, but it's an older clip of Biden having a bit of a senior moment, and really this just makes me sad for him and for the country. This is um, the wildfire that happened in Hawaii, which I still have major questions about. That seemed really weird, and I don't think anyone has has gotten the full story on what exactly happened there. Okay, here's
I was in that war.
Oh, let's back it up full screen so we can just marvel in our commander-in-chief, how eloquent he is, and not creepy at all.
I was in that World War I cemetery in France, and the one that one of our colleagues, the former president, didn't want to go and be up there. I probably shouldn't even say it.
Anyway, that's his favorite line is anyway, because he loses track of what he's saying so often. I would have to say that I often have that same issue, and at least he can blame it on the dementia. I can't blame it on that. I don't think so yet.
We got to just remember who the hell we are. We're the United States of America. I was.
Yeah, he's getting. Yeah, it's getting more and more difficult for him to not be a bit vulgar in everything he says. So after the debate, a lot of people were pushing for him to get out. You need to get out of the race. You need to get out of the race. And even big donors like one of the Disney heiresses said, I will not donate to any Democrat elections until he's out of the race. And I think she donated like $25 million last year or something along those lines. Major money, or at least major to me. I've never seen $1 million in my own with my own two hands or two eyes. I guess you can't see that with hands. Anyway, major money, and he's still in it to win it. All right. Wait, was this the same? I think this is the same one.
Was in that World War I.
Yeah, that was the same one. Okay, so after all these people are screaming that he needs to get out, he decided he needed to do an interview with George Stephanopoulos to assuage people's fears that he's got dementia. So here it is, and I don't want to go through the whole thing because that would be a little bit long. So let's just jump through it a little bit. It says it's 28 minutes long, but it ended. The interview itself ended after only 12 minutes. So the interview to try and assuage people's fears that and to let them know that the 90 minutes that they saw of him, it was nothing. It was nothing. He was sick. He was tired. He's fine. I'll sit down for you for an interview and I hope I can last 10 minutes before the drugs were off. It's kind of what it felt like. Anyway, let's go 1 minute and 34 seconds. Boom. Let's turn this up a little bit.
Because I was sick, I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs with me, I asked them, they did a COVID test because they're trying to figure out what's wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold.
And did you ever?
So it's just a really bad cold. Okay. Let's just continue from there.
Watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
Okay. So the debate was a little bit more than a week ago. He doesn't remember if he watched the debate that he was on a little bit more than a week ago. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say about that. Okay, let's move on to right here.
Well, Kanye was having a bad night when I realized that even when I was answering a question, even though they turned his mic off, he was still shouting. And I let it distract me. I'm not blaming it on that.
So he was sick, and Trump was just so loud that when they turned off Trump's mic, Biden could still hear him, and it threw off the 90 minutes of debate. Because one time Trump was speaking over top of his microphone, which when I watched the debate, I don't remember that actually happening. Or if it did, it was so brief that not many people could blame that. So I think he's grasping at straws. All right. So George Stephanopoulos asked him at the 4 minute 52 seconds. He asked Biden, "Are you the same man that you were 4 years ago?"
In terms of successes, yes. I also was the guy who put together a peace plan for the Middle East that may be coming to fruition. I was also.
So people are still dying in Gaza. And because of his weak leadership, October 7th happened. He's been promising peace for quite a while there, but nothing's happened so far. People are ignoring him, actually. So, okay, he put together a plan, but nobody's following it.
So the guy that expanded NATO is also.
He expanded NATO? That's the reason, or that's a reason why Russia invaded Ukraine. Back in when the Soviet Union fell apart, they got promises from then President George Bush that they would not, I think it was Bush, not move NATO 1 inch closer to Russia. And definitely they've gone further. And Putin said to the now CIA chief, who is the I think it was the ambassador in Russia at the time, that NATO, or Ukraine entering NATO was the brightest of red lines. So they really don't want their neighbor entering into a military alliance that was formed to go against Russia. It would be kind of like Russia forming a military alliance with Mexico against us. I don't think we'd like that. We actually almost went to nuclear war when Cuba got some nukes back in JFK's day. That was inches, millimeters from World War, but instead they were able to back off. But it doesn't seem like Biden understands anything, especially not foreign policy. Brightest of red lines, but no, it's Putin's fault that we're trying to get Ukraine into NATO. It's like I'm taking crazy pills here. All right, let's continue with that.
The guy that grew the economy.
He grew the economy. Of course. That's why there's so much unemployment. Oh, he did grow the economy in that he let a few million illegals come into the country. Maybe that's what he's talking about. He did eventually let businesses open back up after COVID. There is that. Maybe that's growing the economy. Because when you crush the economy and then you let it open back up, it naturally grows. That's it, of course. Silly me.
All the individual things that were done were ideas I had or I fulfilled. I moved on. And so, for example, well, that was true then. What's Biden done lately? Today, just announced 200,000 new jobs. We're moving in a direction that no one's ever taken on.
The only jobs that Biden can create is by growing the government. Anything else is allowing private companies to be created or grown. What control does he have over that? He can stifle growth, or he can allow people freedom so that they can grow. But the only growth he can actually create is government agencies. And to be honest, he did get 71,000 new federal agents or IRS agents, something like that, 78,000. So yeah, I guess he is growing. He is creating jobs. There we go. Another Biden truth. He's creating jobs. More leeches.
I know you know this from the days in the government. I took on Big Pharma. I beat them. No one said I could beat them. I took on all the things we said we got done. We were told we couldn't get done. And part of it is what I said when I ran was I wanted to do three things: restore some decency to the office.
Restore decency to the office. So I don't remember in my history books if there was ever talk of crack being found in the White House or topless trans people flashing everybody at the White House, or part of the nuclear agency, Sam Britton, a cross-dressing kleptomaniac. I could go on, but there's just so much, so much. But that's decency. It's decency.
Restore some support for the middle class instead of trickle-down economics, both from the middle out and the bottom up. The way the wealthy still do fine, everyone does.
He wants to get rid of the tax cuts that have benefited the middle class. I would prefer there were no taxes and we go back to only tariffs, which is what originally funded the government for the first 100 or so years of the life of the country. But well, that's just me wanting to follow the Constitution.
Is better and unite the country.
But what has all that work over the last 3.5 years cost you physically, mentally, emotionally?
Well, I just think it cost me a really bad night.
It's just all of that stress. It cost him a bad night. There we go. All right, let's move on to. Let's see if he will take a neurological exam.
I know you said you have an ongoing assessment. Have you had a full neurological and cognitive evaluation?
I get a full neurological test every day with me. And I've had a full physical. I had, I've been to Walter Reed for my physicals. Yes. The answer.
I know your doctor said he consulted with a neurologist. I guess I'm asking a slightly different question. Have you had the specific cognitive tests, and have you had a neurologist, a specialist, do an examination?
No, no one said I had to. No one said, they said I'm good.
Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have that test. Everything I do. You know, not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. And that's not how it sounds like hyperbole. But we are the essential nation in the world. Madeleine Albright was right. And every single day, for example, today, before I come out here, I'm on the phone with Prime Minister of, anyway, I shouldn't get into detail, but with Netanyahu.
With the Prime Minister, I shouldn't get into the details, but it was not Netanyahu.
I'm on the phone with the new Prime Minister of England. I'm working on what we're doing with regard to in Europe with regard to expansion of NATO and whether it's going to stick. I'm taking on Putin. I mean, every day, there's no day I go through, they're not those decisions I have to make every single day.
And you have been doing that, and the American people have been watching, yet their concerns about your age and your health are growing. So that's why I'm asking, to reassure them, would you be willing to have the independent medical evaluation?
Watch me there's a lot of time left in this campaign. It's over 125 days.
So in other words, no.
So
I'll
the
make a decision.
the right answer right now is no, you don't want to do that right
No,
now.
I've already done it.
You talked a lot about your success.
Yeah. So those were the points in there that I thought were cogent. As Morning Joe said that Biden was. He's very cogent. He's the most cogent man he knows. Okay, moving on. So the mainstream media, or corporate media, some people call it, because mainstream, it doesn't really fit anymore. They seem to be having a different tact right now. USA Today, Biden's attempt to save his campaign and presidency was too underwhelming for the moment. Associated Press, Biden faced a low bar in his first post-debate interview. It's not certain he cleared it. CNN, fact-checking Biden's high-stakes ABC interview. Axios, he's toast. Biden's ABC interview flops with Hill Democrats. Ouch. Wall Street Journal, Biden's ABC interview showed a president in denial. Ow. Okay, New York Times, loyal Democratic voters react to Biden's interview with relief and despair. I tell you, he looked a whole lot better than the debate. Oh, Joe Biden doesn't understand the post-debate reality. Oof. The president told George Stephanopoulos that he'd drop out only if the Lord Almighty directed him to do so. So only if he's called home will he stop. It's do or die, I guess. Okay, Washington Post. Dear Jill Biden, please tell your husband it's time to step aside. The Financial Times. Clash of clans. Candidate Democrats stay united if Joe Biden is toppled. Oh, that's tough. That is tough. And then Biden moves on to say that he is the first Black woman to serve with a Black president. Let's listen.
By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first Black woman to serve with a Black president. I'm proud of the role of the first Black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do.
He's the first Black woman to be a vice president. He took that from Kamala. Kamala was going to be the first woman of color to be the vice president. But now Biden says he is. Just keeping women down, keeping minorities down. I guess you can identify as anything nowadays. I don't know. All right. So let's move on. So Biden tells governors he needs more sleep and less work at night. That's why he had issues with the debate. It was too late at night. He has a set bedtime of like 6 o'clock, and he can't go past that, or else it'll throw off the whole morning routine. It'll be horrible. Anyway, so President Biden told a gathering of Democrat governors that he needs to get more sleep and work fewer hours, including curtailing events after 8 p.m. The debate was at 9. That's why he needed his bedtime, needed his scoop of ice cream and going to bed. He was done. But no, the evil Trump somehow talks Biden into debating after his bedtime. It was all some type of evil, dastardly plan by Trump for Biden to schedule it like that, or the Biden campaign, because Trump didn't really have any control of the first campaign. Biden chose, I think, literally everything. Chose that CNN was doing it, chose that there would be no audience, chose that the mics would be muted, probably chose the time, because they chose literally everything else. And so maybe it was his campaign's fault then, because it couldn't have been Biden's fault, because Biden is perfect. He's perfect. He doesn't make mistakes. All right. So the remarks on Wednesday were a stark acknowledgement of fatigue from the 81-year-old president during a meeting intended to reassure more than 24 of his most important supporters that he is still in command of his job and capable of mounting a robust campaign against the former President Donald J. Trump. Mr. Biden's comments about needing more rest came shortly after the New York Times reported that the current and former officials have noticed that the president's lapses over the past few months have become more frequent and more pronounced. He's been falling upstairs for how long? I think his entire presidency. He's not taking the standard stairs up into Air Force One anymore. He takes the the short stairs into the belly of Air Force One, so that he doesn't have to scale that many and possibly trip on them anymore. It's a concern, you know. If I try and go up more than 5 stairs, I'm falling all over the place. It's crazy. All right. So Mr. Biden told governors, some of whom were at the White House while others participated virtually, that he was staying in the race. He's staying in strong. And that makes so many people so happy. A lot of content creators are just living off of Biden right now, because everything he does is just content. Glorious content. All right. He described his extensive foreign travel in the weeks before the debate, something that the White House and his allies have in recent days cited as reason for his halting performance during the debate. And, you know, that week that he spent at Camp David resting, that just wasn't enough. He needed like 2 weeks of rest to prep for the debate. Jet lag takes a toll on people. I need like a month to recover from jet lag, you know, maybe a year, you know. Okay, initially, Mr. Biden's campaign blamed a cold, putting out word about midway through the debate amid a series of social media posts questioning why Mr. Biden was struggling. And Karine Jean-Pierre, she was like, no, he wasn't. He didn't have a cold. Oh, wait, he did. she doesn't seem to know what's going on in her own place of business. And Mr. Biden said that he told his staff he needed to get more sleep. He was just super tired. Super tired. Multiple people familiar with what took place in the meeting said he repeatedly referenced pushing too hard and not listening to his team about his schedule. And he said he needed to work fewer hours and avoid events scheduled after 8 p.m. Really needs to happen around 4. That way, won't interfere with his bedtime. It's after his nap time, but before bedtime, so it should work out that way. So the Hawaiian governor talked to Mr. Biden and asked him about his status of his health, because I think he's a doctor. Yeah, he's a physician right there. And Biden replied that his health was fine. It's just his brain. His heart's great. His legs are just energetic. His kidneys just processing all that waste. Stomach, all gastrointestinal, everything's great. It's just his brain that's going. There we go. DeMarc, at least one governor did not think it was a joke, though. He was very puzzled by the response. There were some governors that took it as a joke, including Kathy Hochul. I've heard it both ways, but I'm not exactly certain. His campaign manager, who also attended the meeting, he said that Biden did add in, all kidding aside. I'm not sure where he added that in. It could have been in conjunction with "it's just my brain," or it could have been some other random place that he puts that in, because he does say "all kidding aside" quite often, because he's just a kidder. He's just a kidder. Yeah. But according to the campaign manager, he was clearly making a joke there. So we don't need to worry. He's just a joker. He's a little kidder. So yeah, then they talk about how Bush he had an early bedtime, and Obama made dinner early. So that's normal for presidents to have nap times and early bed times, and to fall upstairs and to randomly yell at people, and to really have a disastrous debate. Obama did have one poor debate, which I think it was because of altitude sickness, because it was in Denver, which is a fairly high elevation. I'll give him that one. So Trump responded to this and said, we've all been there. We've all had off nights. Let's schedule a do-over, a makeup debate. And Biden had mentioned that there was some weirdness with the muted mic and the whole thing. So Trump's like, you know what? Let's just have a one-on-one conversation. You can explain why you've let all the illegals in the country, why you gave the money to Iran, why you are funding Ukraine to such a crazy amount, and not talking to Russia to try and get some type of ceasefire going, and so on and so forth. I haven't heard anything about whether Biden has actually gone through with that, or accepted the invitation. I would assume not, because Biden didn't do so the first time. But yeah, that's our president. So excited. I'm not afraid of World War III at all. Anyway, I thought that was just hilarious. But what do you think? Please comment down below. Tell me what's on your mind. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you later.